Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Trader Main back here for another altcoin video. I got my new Naruto weeb merch on. I'm a fucking nerd. I can't help myself. I love anime. But I got an exciting video, a good video for you guys this week.
Not that you'd understand my analysis anyways.
So what we're going to be talking about is an update on the coins we covered last week. So that's Sol, FTM, and Luna. As I mentioned, you know, Bitcoin had lost that 40K range in the last video. We saw a lot of alts, the market as a whole take a big hit. And I said there's still going to be opportunities to buy the dip. Even if we're going much lower, even if this is a bear market, it doesn't mean it goes down in a straight line. There are going to be opportunities to long bounces into potential lower highs. You can still play the long side in a downtrend if the long side is what you prefer. You just got to realize that you're trading counter trends. So we talked about a lot of that in the last video. It was a longer video, so this one will be shorter, but we're going to be doing an update and we're going to see how those plans played out. And I'm happy to say that your boy Trader Main was out there sniping some bottoms, and we had some really nice bounces on those three coins, all within kind of the parameters of the TA that I had laid out. So we'll kind of do an update. What did it look like in the last video? What does it look like now? Tips on how you could have got involved, because obviously we were making a prediction last week, and now that the price action has played out, I can kind of give you some more insights into exactly what you could have done to get in. Then we'll obviously give you some kind of targets from here on out. If we're going to go higher, what levels do we have to flip, and then where do we target? And if we are going to be putting in a lower high, you know, where am I looking at on the lower end? As usual, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, leave comments of anything you want to see me touch on in the future. I really appreciate all the help you guys have been giving me. We're over 25K followers now, so that's only 20x. No, wait, 10x, and then another 4x. We're only a 40x away from overtaking BitBoy. So that's very doable. This is crypto after all. 40x's are like a dime a dozen, right? So yeah, that's all I got. Let's head over to the other camera and let's dig into these charts. All right, guys, welcome back over at the other camera now. So let's dig into these charts. I'm gonna quickly start with Bitcoin and then I'll get into those altcoins, and we'll try and keep this relatively tight because the last video was a longer one. And I know you guys like the short form content, and apparently I'm long-winded. I had no idea. What I've got here, the only levels I've added that you haven't seen since the last video was this range. So this is a range that we've worked with in a while. We had this range drawn when we were down here, and this is just the range from this low to this high. Basically encapsulated this entire, you know, kind of price action that we've seen on Bitcoin since about a year ago. So we had our last low before the first all-time high run, ran the high, deviated, back below, broke market structure. Now we're at the range low. Broke market structure, retest, back to the range high. Deviated, back below, down to the range EQ. Support briefly, broke below, down to the range low, and now we're back up touching the underside of the EQ. So obviously a very key area. You can see all the interactions we've had at the lows, at the EQ, at the highs. So I like this range as an area to watch for just kind of my macro bias, right? If we can get above the EQ, I think there's a good chance we trade closer to the range high. If we reject here at the EQ, I think there's a good chance we trade back towards the range low. So zooming in now, last week on the video, we were trading at about 38,000. So we were in this little leg here. We put in one more low and then boom, big move up to the upside. So you had a swing failure pattern here. Video coming soon. Breaking market structure, pushed up, and we've now ran all of these highs. We just tagged that EQ level and had a pretty strong rejection there. And now we're kind of consolidating here. So the question is Bitcoin going to go higher and dig deeper into this weekly supply, this weekly bearish order block? Shout out to the order block video. Or is this it? And we're going to see a pullback. Personally, I would like to see Bitcoin cool off a bit here. So from this low to the high, almost a 40% move. Even just from the start of February here, we're up 25% with no real pullback. This is the biggest pullback we've had since the start of February in the last 8 days, and we're up 25%. So what I would personally love to see, and I don't know if we'll get this, is a pullback to either our 41K SR, and I talked about that level on Discord, on previous streams, and maybe even in the last video. We'll quickly just cover why that level is relevant. There's your 41K level. Resistance, resistance, breakout, moon. Broke below, dumped. Broke above, pumped. Support, support, broke below, dumped. So a key level there. So what I'm looking for now is two situations effectively. Well, three. If we're able to get one more push here, so you can see we had the hard rejection here. This white line is a 12-hour swing failure pattern. So we swing failed, pushed down, and we're now retesting that swing fail. So if it's going to reject right now, you could short Bitcoin with your stop above here. Because if you're wrong, we're going to trade deeper into this order block. We're going to trade deeper into this bearish order block here. So that's one option. Reject from where we are right now. Second option would be a bit higher. Push up into this. That's a daily bearish order block within the weekly bearish order block. So maybe we get one more push up and then a retracement. A retracement is coming. This is not just going to go like this. It is going to have a decent pullback at some point. Option 1, reject here. Option 2, another push above this high into this consolidation, that daily bearish order block within the weekly one around 46,000, and then a pullback. The higher it goes, the shallower the pullback, right? If it goes up to here, the likelihood of it coming all the way to 39, I think, is a little less likely, but who knows? The areas I'm looking for a pullback to potentially long, 41. So if we come here, break below, back above, something like that, this is a long. If we really pull back hard to 40 to 39K, so this would be like an SR flip of this consolidation, this is another area where I'd look for a long. Long here, compound here, target back into here, and then potentially even higher. The most bearish thing I think could happen would be losing this. So if we come down here and then we lose this level, I think that is an easy short on the backside of this level down into the range lows, okay? Down here, below these lows, and probably below those summer lows at 30K as well. So those are the situations I'm watching on Bitcoin this week, going into the weekend, and even next week to see what happens. If Bitcoin continues to trade up, we might see some of these altcoins trade a little higher. However, if Bitcoin dumps, right, be prepared that these altcoins will dump potentially asymmetrically harder than Bitcoin, right? So if you caught some of these pumps, you want to be taking profits on the way up. The preceding trend is down. You might have caught the bottom, but there's a good chance that we get pullbacks on the way up. Even if this is going back to all-time high, there are going to be pullbacks, and maybe it isn't the bottom, and you don't want to round trip all that money you made all the way back down. So definitely not a bad idea to shave off some, at least margin leverage exposure if you have it on Bitcoin, on alts, as we get up into this kind of 44 to 46K area. And if we do see a significant pullback, alts are going to pull back hard. Sorry to interrupt the charting session here, guys, but I do want to give a quick shout out to the partners on the video. First partner is Prime XBT. So you guys know I've been working with Prime for a while now. It's an exchange that I actively trade on. Right now, we're running a new promotion. So same information as usual. Use the link in the description. Use the code MAIN50. And this time you can get up to $7,000 in deposit bonuses on any money you deposit into your trading account there. The one thing you have to make sure that you do when you set up the account using the link in the description, please do that first. Before you deposit any money, you're going to want to enter the promo code MAIN50. After you've done that, then when you deposit the money, you're eligible for those bonuses up to $7,000 USD. So shout out to the Prime team. If you have any questions about the exchange itself, anything like that, or the promo, feel free to shoot me a message. The second partner for this video is Cyber, CYB. So what CYB is, they're calling it Cyber. They're a decentralized search engine. So it's going to be a Web3 search engine. They want to compete with things like Google. One of the advantages is it allows you to get relevant search responses without any of the intermediaries that you would have using something like Google or Amazon or Facebook. They do have a native token called BOOT, B-O-O-T. CYB is going to be doing a very large airdrop on the Ethereum network. So all you have to do to participate in the airdrop is obviously interact with the protocol, check it out. I also suggest you follow their Twitter and their website, cyb.ai. The founder of the project also had a really great interview that you can check out on YouTube, and then another video about the project itself. So I'll include all that information in the description of the video. If you're interested in checking them out, I would definitely at least sign up, interact with the protocol, connect your wallet. You're going to be eligible for the airdrop. And in times like these, free money is definitely something we could all use. So the altcoins that we covered in last week's video were Luna, Sol, and FTM. And as you can see here, the first one we'll look at is Luna. We were trading into this weekly order block. So I said the trend is down. We're bearish on this thing, but we're into high time frame support. I do think this is an area where we could catch a long, and my target was a 62. On the daily, we had put in this first candle here. Was it the 12 hour? I think it might have been the 12 hour, but we had put in a candle up near here. And I said, maybe, I think it's right here. I said, maybe this is the start of the bottom. But basically, I'm looking for that standard trader main pattern, right? The low, lower low, higher low. That's my go-to reversal, whether it's at a top or a bottom. This is how 90% of my setups play out, exactly like this. So I thought, hey, maybe this is it. But I said, if we don't get that bullish price action here, the next level I'm looking at is this daily order block within the weekly order block. So I found the daily order block within the weekly order block. I had marked that out in the last video. Go see it, 43, it was there. And as you can see, we got that exact PA form. We had that initial low, a lower low, came right into our level. That would have been a knife catch. Where's the long I'm taking? It's this one, the higher low. But that would have been a nice knife catch. I am glad it tagged it because now I can clout farm the shit out of it as if I'm an absolute assassin in the charts, which I am. But I didn't long 43. I longed here. Where was the target? The target was back into this floor, back into this price floor here. So it looks like we've come up just a little shy for now, but we had a very nice move. I mean, if you snipe the low because you just put an order there because Trader Main said this is a good level, this bounced almost 40%. From where I entered, this bounced 27%. In a downtrend, if you're able to catch a counter trend 10, 15, 20% move, you bet your ass you better take some profits. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Perfect setup there. Very nice move away. Now we're rejecting a little bit into resistance here. We have our key SR, there's our order block, and we're rejecting right there. But it's all gonna depend on Bitcoin here. If Bitcoin is able to push a little higher, you can see we've pushed up. We put in a nice little wick here into this order block. So we might get one more push to 62. And that's my target. Maybe we go a little higher. Maybe we come up to 64, 65. But it's going to depend on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is going to make another push towards 46K, I do think we'll see this target achieved and maybe a little bit more. But if Bitcoin's going to pull back from here, no problem taking profits at 60 with the target of 62. So you're not catching the 27% move. You're catching a 23% move instead. That's still a great fucking trade. So we'll see what happens here. See if it gets that one more push up. But I'm very happy with how this trade has worked out, and I posted on Twitter when we started getting up to these levels on Bitcoin, 44, 45, that I'm shaving off a lot of my dip buys and leverage exposure, and that's exactly what I've done. Got a little bit of Luna left. Maybe we've got one more push up, but if we get below this wick here, this doesn't end up being a higher low, I'm out for the rest. And if we come up here and do one of these, or one of these, high, higher high, lower high, deviation, you short this thing back down into here, and that would be confluent with Bitcoin dumping off as well, right? So this one worked out great, really happy. Solana, exact same thing. Downtrend, high time frame looking horrendous, but I said we are coming into an area of high time frame support. I said I don't think this is great support like the support down here. I don't love consolidations in the middle of an expansive move. We basically had straight up, 2 down candles, and then straight up again. But I do think this was good enough for a bounce. I marked this out. Look what happened. We came and we pinged it. Where was I targeting? That previous floor at 124. And you can see we just came shy of that level. We hit 122. But again, if you would have just entered at the level I gave you, this thing pumped at one point almost 50% off of that fucking low. You're welcome. Or if you would have entered like Trader Main, there's your low, lower low, higher low. Right into our key area. Maybe you didn't even enter here, but once you see that low, lower low, reclaim of the low, and then a break in market structure, well, why aren't you buying this order block? The only reason you wouldn't buy this or this is because you're not watching my videos. So even that entry, even though that's well after it was clear that this thing was going up, we spiked the level, gave you an entry pattern here. We've now broken market structure. Even from here, you got yourself a 20+% move. So exact same thing as Luna here. If Bitcoin pushes up for another push higher towards 46K, we probably will see this level get met and maybe even push up towards 130 to 140 up into this bearish order block. But I'm pretty happy with the money I made. I've scaled off most of my position. We have put in an SFP here. So it's going to depend on Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin wants to pull back. This thing's probably going to pull back farther. But if you want to leave a moon bag on, or you're still in your full position, which I don't know why you would be after catching this big of a move on a retrace, because that's all we are so far. It's just a retrace. Until proven otherwise, we're just in one of these. We need to break this high for this to no longer be the case. And yeah, that means that you missed part of this move, but you didn't. You longed this, and then you're longing from here. You missed just a little bit. And yeah, your entry isn't this entry, but what happens if you hold this entry and then we just do this? then you're fucking pissed, right? Then you're in my DMs complaining, begging for money, and I'm not going to give it to you. So again, very happy with how this played out. Picture perfect. This could be the top right here. If Bitcoin gets another push, I'll look for a push up, maybe as high as here, above this 124 level, this being my pivot, right? High, higher high perhaps, lower high, breakdown, that's your deviation. And we're now shorting this thing back towards sub 100. And obviously these things can trend. Like if we're gonna flip into an uptrend, great, I'm here for it. I'll get back in long on bullish market structure. If Bitcoin wants to go to 50K and these alts are all gonna go higher, there's gonna be plenty of time for me to get in longs, right? Look at the timing here. This is the 21st of January. First entry, 5 days later. Second entry, another 5 days later. Third entry, another 4 days later. That's like almost 2 weeks down here where you had time to get involved. It's not just gonna give you a green 50% candle. It looks like one big green candle on the weekly, but what you've learned from me and the studying you're doing is you can break it down, right? There's time to get in. There are pullbacks. So we'll wait and see, but very happy with how this played out as well. A little shy of my target. Maybe we get that one more push, but I'm not gonna be greedy. I'm taking my money. Right now, I think it's take profits on the way up and run season until proven otherwise. I don't need to long the bottom. If we're gonna start marching towards all-time high again, I'm gonna be longing dips the entire way. I have no problem taking profits and then re-longing. No issue at all. I don't need to catch the entire move. I don't need to flex some bottom entry on Twitter. I don't give a shit. I give a shit about making money. FTM was the trickiest of the bunch. I had this 239 as a target, but this one was looking a little more bearish. And so I drew out this kind of trend line here. And I said, okay, well, if we break down below this trend line, you could probably short this thing. And that ended up giving you a nice little short. I was targeting much lower, but when the whole market turned up, this thing ended up turning around and going up. So what happens here? Let's assume you took this short, stop here, target here. You're stopped out here. So if you're stopped out here, what is your now plan? Well, clearly you have to reassess and you can say, okay, I got stopped out on my short. Let me look at the charts here. Well, we've got a 12-hour swing failure pattern here. We've got a break in market structure. I'm now gonna long, and it gave you that long right into our target of 239. So this one I unfortunately did not get in any longs on. This one was a little trickier because it looked shittier because the support I had was lower. So I didn't have a long bias on FTM like I did on the other two right away. I did say if it breaks up, my target was 239, which it tagged here, but I was thinking it might stab lower first. So I didn't get this one perfect. The upside target was right. I was suggesting if we broke the trend line, you could short. So you would have gotten stopped out on that short if you've taken it, but you have to be nimble, right? As a trader, if you get stopped out on a short, if you still think it's going down, you can short again. If you get stopped out on the long or on a short and now you're bullish because you're like, okay, well now it looks bullish, then get in a long. The beauty of asymmetric risk reward, 2-to-1 reward to risk, 3-to-1 reward to risk is I get stopped out on this trade, I'm -1R. But then if I hopped in a long here on this breaker, that 12-hour SFP breaker into here, and it gives me a 2R, that's a B, but you know what I mean. I'm now up 1R. It allows for losses. That's why we aim for asymmetric risk reward, because it allows you to lose. Most good traders have a strike rate of like 50, 60%. Are there people who have higher strike rates, 70, 80%? I don't know, probably. But I know people who have sub 50% strike rates and they make money. Why? Because they have asymmetric risk reward. If you aim for 2-to-1, you only have to get 1 out of every 3 trades right to break even over a 100 trade span. So if you can get 33 trades out of 100 right, so 33 trades pay you 2R, and then the 66 losses are -1R, right? So 2-to-1 risk reward to risk, you only need a 33% strike rate to break even, okay? So out of 100 trades, if you're able to get 33 right at 2R, that's gonna be 66. Assume R is $1, right? So that's $66. R equals $1. And then your 67 losses, right, at 1R is going to be a loss of 67 bucks, right? So it's effectively break even. The math is actually 33.3 because it's 1/3, right? So it's 33.33333 repeating, but I'm just making the math simplified here because I'm a smooth brain. You guys are smooth brains listening to me, which is making your brains even smoother. You effectively have broken even here, only getting 33% of your trades right. So if you can get 40% right, you're profitable. 35%, 36, 37, you're profitable. If you're getting 50% of your trades right, you're making good money and you're growing your account. That is why we aim for asymmetry, because if you get stopped out on the short here, you can flip long and you're up 1R. After a stop out and a win, you're up. So FTM didn't work out as perfect as I thought. The level I gave in terms of where I thought it would go to on the upside was dialed, but I didn't end up getting a successful long on this one. But I'm happy with my dip buys on Luna, on Sol, on Bitcoin, because we did long at the lows. I posted on Twitter, I posted in Discord at 3340K, and I'm a buyer. So I'm really happy with how things turned out, to be honest with you. So go watch that previous video if you want some more information on the initial analysis and then seeing how it played out. So you can actually, it's not just hindsight. You can see me do it live and then see the results. But yeah, that's all I got. I hope this video is helpful for you guys. As usual, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, talk to you later. All right, guys, that's it. Another video done and dusted. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. Do me a big favor. Support the channel by subscribing, turning on notification bells, leaving comments, liking my tweets, forcing your family and friends, and I mean by force if necessary, to watch the video multiple times. We got to pump those numbers up for the YouTube algorithm so we can continue on our moon mission. And our moon mission is one that you guys know very well. It's to take over a man who's kind of shaped like the moon. Looking forward to continuing to get some videos out for you guys here in the next little bit. Thanks one more time to our sponsors, Prime XBT and Cyber. And that's all I got. Love you guys so much. Talk to y'all soon.